Dear students, expecting you are keeping a good pace with this intolerable time. And today we are going to discuss a very important topic on English second paper for the HSC students. The topic is actually named by degree, especially it is comparison of adjective. It is comparison of adjective. Actually when we use adjective, we need to know how we will use this comparison of adjective. In many respects we need it. Actually comparison of adjective, it is grammatical constructions used for comparing adjectives. Comparison of adjectives or degree refers to different forms of the adjectives. That means adjectives has some forms, and the forms are like that: positive, comparative and superlative. Positive, comparative and superlative. In these three ways you can categorize degree or comparison of adjective. And today I have made some slides for you to understand, then I will go through detail. Comparison of adjective is important, I told you before, and it has three layers, or you can categorize into three groups: positive, comparative and superlative. That means the base of the positive base of adjective is regarded as comparison as positive, and then you can compare between two people of okay, thank you. Positive comparison. This is used for when we only describe one person or a thing. That means positive degree or positive comparison is used only for one person's quality or any other adjective or any other quality to describe one person or thing. The form of an adjective which depicts a noun or pronoun's quality, flow or state is called positive degree. That means if you want to denote or if you want to be clarified about positive comparison, you have to know the form of an adjective which depicts a noun or pronoun's quality. That means it denotes the quality of a noun or a pronoun. Or flow or state is called positive degree. Just follow the example. The house is big. That means here you are getting an adjective big, and it is especially marks the house only. That means the house has a distinct quality, and here you are getting only one thing's quality or one thing's condition. That is what is that? Big. So it is positive degree. And then comparative degree. Comparative degree, this is when we compare two people or things to each other. That means when we compare between two things, at the time we can denote it is a comparative degree. The form of adjective which compares to nouns or pronouns quality. That means here you will get the quality of two nouns or two pronouns, quality, flow or state, that is called comparative degree. Like the house is big, okay, but my house is bigger. That means here we are comparing between the house and my house, and comparing between these two things we are using the comparative form, that is bigger. Superlative degree. Superlative degree used when comparing more than two people or things. That means in superlative degree you will compare with more than two people or things. At the time you will find that comparative degree. The form of an adjective which is used to compare among many is called superlative degree. All these are the discussions about the conception, about the introduction about degree. Then we will go in detail. He was the fastest in the bicycle race, or Shabab is the best player on the cricket team. That means here we are denoting he or Shabab is the toughest, best. For the present is called the superlative degree. Now we have to know about some information about changing degrees that are very important to memorize, or that is very important for changing degree from positive to comparative, comparative to positive. I told you the last class, my dear students, in the sector of transformation, you will get simple complex compound, degree, voice, etc. So here, for the changing of degree, you have to find out one thing, that when you will transform from positive to comparative, positive to superlative, you have to follow some special rules, special system. And here you are getting the system of changing from superlative degree to positive degree, that are, at first you have to use no other. Then the later part of the given superlative in the sentence, then verb plus so or as, and plus a positive form of the superlative degree, plus as, plus given sentence subject. Like Saira is the tallest girl in the class. Here you are getting the positive form. No other girl is as tall as Saira. That means at first you are using no other, then the last part of the sentence, then you are using verb, and you are using the positive form of the degree, and of course you will keep the positive form in between as and as. In this way you are using. And superlative form, Saqib is the best player. No other player is as good as Saqib. In this way you are making comparative positive degree from superlative. There are other rules here. You are getting fine. Rules of changing superlative degree, having one of the, all other, many other, most other, very few other into positive degree. That means in the construction of positive degree or superlative degree or comparative degree, you will find some different forms. You will find some different forms. Like here you are getting the superlative degree started with one of them, but at first we saw it was started with the. That means here, if you get one of the, or all other, or many other, most other, like that, of course you have to transform that superlative degree into positive in this way. At first you have to use very few. Then the later part of the given superlative in the sentence, that means the rest part after the verb. Then verb's plural form. That means when you will use very few, of course you have to use the plural form of the verb. Plus so, plus as, plus a positive form of the superlative degree, and plus as, plus given sentences subject. Like Adil is one of the best players on the team. Here you are finding one of the in superlative form. Then if you transform this sentence into positive form, of course you have to use very few, not no other. Why? Because you have found here one of the, and very few players in the team, and of course you have to use the plural form of the verb are as good as Adil. Comparative degree into positive degree. Comparative degree into positive degree. Before going to comparative degree into positive degree, I want to clarify about superlative to positive. Then I am using the board, and my dear students, just notice, just follow some very fundamental structure from superlative to positive. Actually, we have found the superlative degree is started with by using the. Superlative degree is started with the, and then we have also found one of the. Yes. So in this two way, if you find superlative degree, you will find it either by using the or one of the. So if you get the and if you get one of the positive form will not be same. How will you actually remember these things? Just follow. No other, the, or the, no other. That means if you find the in superlative form, of course you have to use no other for making a positive form. And the structure, what will be the structure here? It is very easy. No other plus rest of the sentence plus verb plus so or as plus positive degree plus subject. That means no other plus rest of the sentence plus verb plus so or as plus positive degree plus as plus subject. In this way, that means no other plus rest of the sentence plus you have to use verb plus as or so plus positive degree plus as plus subject. In this way, you have to make the positive form from superlative degree. If you find the superlative degree, it started with the. It started with the. And if you find one of the, what will you do? If you find one of the, you have to use very few. Very few. Plus rest of the sentence. Plus verb plural form. That means very few, rest of the sentence, verb plural form. Plus as plus positive degree plus as plus subject. In this way, you can transform superlative to positive. If we want to give some examples, I think it will be clear. It will be clear. Suppose Rohim is the best boy. Subject, verb, the rest of the sentence. Now we have found the. That means for making positive degree, we will use no other. This is the extension, no other boy. Then verb is, then as. Then we have to use the positive form of this superlative form, good. And then of course you have to use again as, then subject, Rohim. That means no other boy is as good as Rohim. In this way, you have to make positive form. If you find the superlative form, it started with the. And if it started with one of the, like Rohim is one of the best boys, then all the parts will be same, but you have to use here very few, not no other. Very few. Then boy. Here we have used is, singular form, but right now we have to use the plural form. Very few boys are as good as Rohim. In this way, you have to make positive degree from superlative form. That means you will find two types of superlative degree. It started with the and it started with one of the. That means if you find the superlative form started with the, you have to use no other. And of course you have to use very few if you find the superlative form started with one of the. In this way you can transform superlative to positive degree. Then we will focus on comparative degree to positive degree. That means our motto right now is to make positive degree from superlative and from comparative. Already we have got some idea about making positive degree from superlative degree. Right now we will discuss about the ways of making positive degree from comparative degree. If you want to make positive degree from comparative degree, you have to use in the same way that you have used for superlative degree. What is that? Of course you have to use no other. You have to use no other than the later part of the sentence, any other, all other in the sentence, then verb plus so or as a positive form of the comparative degree plus given sentence. Here, of course, you have to know that for making comparative degree, of course, you have to use than any other, or than all other in this way. Because in comparative degree, we have found than. But when you will use, or when you will make positive degree, of course you have to use so or as dot dot as. That means positive degree will be in between as. Here the structure is almost same. The structure is almost same. Here you are using no other plus the rest of the sentence plus verb plus as plus positive degree plus as plus subject. That means here, if we find Rohim is better than any other boy, the comparative form will be like that: no other boy is as good as Rohim. Actually, the form of positive degree is same. You are making positive degree from comparative or superlative. The structure of comparative or superlative will be different from each other, but the positive structure of comparative degree, positive degree will remain same. Here, you are getting than any other. For that reason, you are using no other. If you get here most other, you have to use very few, and the rest of the structure will remain same. That means if you find the comparative degree in this way, Rohim is better than most other boys. Rohim is better than most other boys. At that time, you have to make the positive degree by using very few. Very few boys are as good as Rohim. That means here you are getting also two types of structure. One is used like than any other, and the rest all other or most other. All other or most other. At that time, if you find most other, you will use very few, and if you find than any other, you will use no other. In this way, you have to transform from comparative to positive. And I am showing you the another thing. That means here, you are getting comparative degree just comparing between specific two persons. Like Ahan is stronger than Rihan. Ahan is stronger than Rihan. Here, you are getting only specific two persons. For that reason, you are not allowed to write down or use like no other or very few. Why? Because when you are using no other or very few, it seems that you are comparing, or the degree given or the sentence given, that means it is compared with many objects, many things, many people. But right now, you are getting only two specific persons. What is that? Rihan and Ahan. For that reason, you are not supposed to use no other or very few. At that time, you will change the position. You will change the position. Is it correct?